Hi everyone, Tom Rogers here. I am joined. This is a real special privilege for me today because I'm in TES Towers in the centre, in the heart of the city, in the heart of London, with Ed. Ed, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, okay. My name's Ed Dorrell. I'm deputy editor of TES magazine and head of content for TES News, which is our online journalism operation.
Purpose of this video is just to give you some, if you're thinking of writing about education or want to get involved in educational writing, this is just a short video to maybe give you some tips and advice on how to go about that. Also a bit of an insight into the current blogosphere and the current educational writing clique, if you want to call it that, in terms of what people are writing about and why. Ed, first question for you. What do you think the best writers you know on education have in common?
I would start actually by saying it is worth remembering that all of this kind of writing is subjective, and there are many, many different ways to cut it and the approach to take. And anything I say on the subject is only my opinion.
Very true.
Professional journalist though I am, this is what I like. This is what TES likes to a degree, although we have endless conversations and debates internally about what constitutes good writing. So, this is not black and white, anything I say. So the question, which is...
what do the best writers have in common?
Personally, for me, the best education bloggers and writers don't try and be kind of finely honed professional journalists. I much prefer the teacher voice. I much prefer the sense that you are there on the front line. I much prefer the sense that you know what's really going on. You'll see that when we publish teacher writing in the TES, which we do a lot, we don't edit it to within an inch of its life, and that is on purpose because we want the real voice to come out. I want to feel human stories. I want to feel a sense that you know what's going on. We've got a group of journalists upstairs who are extremely professional, extremely competent in what they do. If I want really great journalistic writing, we've got that internally. We have freelancers who we use regularly. That we can do.
Yeah.
What we can't do is write from the teacher's perspective.
Yeah.
And it's something there's been a real focus on over the years, especially since Ambrose took over as editor, that we really want to have a lot more of that in the magazine. And I hope our regular readers will recognise that. Not least of all Tom, who you all know writes a weekly column for us, as a teacher, as a bloke who knows what's going on the front line of teaching.
Well, I hope I do.
Well, I hope you do too, because I pay you. Not much.
No. What advice would you give to a writer who is yet to write anything on education and is just starting out?
The advice I would give is the advice I give to anyone who wants to do writing, not just teacher writers, and that is to read. So look at the people you like best, people you don't like. Read and absorb the way successful writers write. Read Tom. Read him every week. Look at what they do. Loads of people, and it's unbelievable, but it's true, loads of people decide they want to be a writer, they want to be a blogger, but they don't do any reading. The only way to become a good writer, in any format really, is to spend all your time reading. I spend all my life reading journalism. That's what I do. And my advice is to find your favourite dozen education bloggers and to read everything they've done. And you don't need to take notes forensically about how they write, the approach they take. Just by the very act of reading it, you will absorb a lot. And then you'll find yourself just sort of subconsciously pondering how they've approached that story or how they've approached that take, how they've approached that article. But just read.
And you don't think the length of a blog or an article matters?
Okay.
Do you think that matters?
Yeah, it does to some degree. Actually, one of the really interesting things about the birth of digital journalism has been that old-style journalism, print journalism, obviously there's a real discipline and strict rules about how many words an article has to be, because obviously there's limitations on page. Online, how long is a piece of string? So there's a real discipline to thinking, what is this worth?
Yeah.
I absolutely, unless something is stellar,
Yeah.
people don't read beyond 700 words.
Yeah.
you know, your act, your first act is to think really hard about what you're trying to say and really
add value into every
and
sentence.
concentrate it down, distill it down, because you know no one needs to be under 1,000 words.
Yeah,
Your
that's a really
attention span- your
interesting.
attention
That's
span
really interesting.
really-
Yeah,
Really,
because I think people presume, don't they, that someone's going to read this entire article when they're writing it, or the entire blog when they're writing it. But that's so true. I mean, 700 words seems like a fair.
to be really disciplined with yourself.
Yeah.
So that would be my main advice. Think about who you're writing for.
Yep.
Who do you want to read it? Really interesting questions. Are you writing for teachers?
Yeah.
Or are you writing for a mainstream audience? Or are you writing for your friends and family? These are all completely different setups. So assumed knowledge is the really important one. So you write definitely for a teacher audience.
Yes.
You assume a degree of knowledge about how teaching works.
Yeah.
So middle leaders, you know.
Yeah.
It might surprise the teacher audience to know that most people outside their school won't know what a middle leader is.
Yes.
It's used so often
Yeah.
in teaching. So that would be an example.
Or a TLR.
A TLR,
Something
yes,
we'll know
exactly,
a
yeah.
TLR.
So that kind of thing. So think about who you're writing for, and then, and this might sound obvious, why are they going to want to read it?
I suppose that leads nicely on to, where do you think writers go wrong? What's bad practice? Just as a couple of maybe an example. It's personal.
Nearly always missing that last point. You know, why are you going to want to read this? You've got to think. You know,
Yeah.
People's attention spans are short.
Yeah.
They're busy. If you're writing for a teacher audience, they're really busy.
Yeah.
They're on Twitter, possibly picking it up on Twitter or on other social media. Why are they going to want to read this? You know, you're asking people to make time out there, take time out of their day. It might only be 2 minutes.
Yeah.
To read something. To think really hard. Am I adding value? Am I saying something different? Have I got a different take on it? It's really hard to be funny. I mean, I'm funny writing is really hard. So if you think you're being funny,
if you're going to have a go at that, then I think you've got to know.
Be aware that it probably isn't funny.
Yeah.
I mean, so you know, what are the angles? Why? I mean,
presumably you must have received comedy type things and thought
never ever send me poetry. We get submitted poetry loads.
Really?
We've never ever published
a
teacher poem.
Yeah.
The whole 110-year history of the magazine.
Yeah.
We get submitted funny stuff. Very funny. Yeah. And that's no dig at teaching. I mean, just writing funny is hard.
Yeah. Very much. What do you think the hot topics are? So if you're a prospective education blogger, you're thinking, right, what should I write about? If you were to say your top 3 topics or broad topics within education that you would write about, if you wanted to generate interest, what would those topics be?
Accountability.
Yeah.
Workload for that broad workforce issues.
Yeah.
Ofsted.
Yeah.
Michael Gove.
Yeah.
Still Michael Gove. You just put Gove in a headline, it still generates hits.
Yeah, and I suppose obviously you publish a hell of a lot of articles via the TS, and as you said, for the teachers as well. If you were to reference like 3 articles or 2 or 3 articles that you know of now, that you would say this is an example of great education journalism, whether it be from the magazine or from just, I know it's difficult to pick a few, but just off the top of your head now, maybe recent ones that you've seen where you think, go and have a look at that.
I'd say there's 3 examples I would use. I would use the one column you wrote a month or 2 ago about middle leaders. I thought it was a brilliant piece, TES piece.
Thank you, Ed.
About, the most unloved but most important member of school team, basically. It was written from a teacher perspective about something that only teachers would understand, but it really generated loads of interest, didn't it? People loved it. It was a real buzzy, really buzzy piece. So read that. I would read slightly different, very different actually, Jeff Barton, who's General Secretary of our school, written a piece in today's TES, today being the 11th, on how nervous heads are going to be ahead of the GCSE.
Is that magazine or
that's
online? In the magazine.
In the magazine. And both online and in print, we have amazing. Actually, there's 2 people I mentioned actually.
Yeah.
In print, almost completely, is Steve Edison, who writes a column about primary teaching
Yeah.
in the magazine, and if you don't read him, you're missing out on, I think, the best columnist in Britain on any subject.
Wow.
He's the most
That's high praise, though. That's high
beautiful
praise.
writer you'll ever read. I'll stick with that. But
Yeah.
really interesting to read Steve Edison,
Okay.
because not only is he an amazingly good writer, but he doesn't write about issues. He writes about life in schools.
Yeah.
And he works in a really deprived, I've been up to see him, really deprived primary school in Sheffield, on the edge of a council estate, on the edge of a hill. And he just writes, and he cuts to your heart almost every single time about the kids.
Okay.
Beautiful.
Got to read it. I suppose my last one, I suppose, is a more... that's just two to finish with. The first one is, very quickly, which social media platform do you think is best for sharing education blogs or articles? Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook.
We don't really do LinkedIn.
Yeah.
I can't speak for it. Personally, I think it's a bit boring. It's really PD heavy.
Yeah.
Twitter tends to be better for policy issues.
Yeah.
So if you want to write about education policy, but which obviously includes accountability and whatnot, then that works best on Twitter. Facebook is, as a platform, is much more personal. Much more about you and about me and about my life. So that's the best. That's the best platform for stuff to do with the teachers' lives.
Yeah.
Workload stresses, pay a bit, management problems, and the lives of kids. The lives of kids stuff does really well on Facebook.
What do you think is similar to a pop song like Mr. Brightside that you've heard a million times, and when it comes on it was an absolutely amazing song, but because you've heard it like a million times you're like, oh, it's Mr. Brightside again. Is there anything when it comes to a topic or a theme in education where that may apply?
Well, you know, I hate Ofsted. Ofsted's not fair. That's a well-trodden path.
Yeah.
There is a massive...
So it has to be something new with that.
Has to be a workload crisis. There is a workload crisis. Teachers are leaving,
of course,
understandably, so I'm not saying it's not.
Yeah.
Right. But that is a very well and long-written story.
But is it good to maybe look for an angle
look for an angle
on
Just
those
a
things?
different take. Because it's an important story, and we will keep running stories about it. It's important, but we have to keep finding new ways, as we say, new ways into the story.